Hello, Genevieve here. I thought I would do a quick little flip through of my A5 just to show you what I'm using, what I'm doing right now, what's currently working during this kind of pandemic situation. So usually I'm in a personal size. I decided to up to a large. This is a Filofax Fuchsia in the patent, and it's the original. You'll notice in the bottom right, there's a bit of a decal. I'm hoping you guys can, I don't know if it'll catch the light or not. It just says breathe, a little reminder of myself. It's a vinyl decal I put on by myself that I created. You can pull it off, put it back on, and it doesn't damage. My A5 is currently a bit of a brick. I'm living in this kind of absolutely everything. I changed some files or some options, and so you'll notice that it's a little bit... there are some pages that are blank, but it's the current setup that's working for me. So the pen that I'm living in these days is the Friction Point Knock 0.4. It is by far my favorite, and all the highlighters are mild liners. So you'll notice in the front, I've got just slid in here, just little tabs. They're got them from Staples. They're just little Post-its. I have these ones, and I also have the larger size that is currently in my A5 size. On the left here, the only other thing that I keep in here is, you'll see, is this. I just happen to have a piece of laminated cardboard in, it was in gold, but it's 10 millimeters, so it's really, really thick. And one of the things I found is that because the Filofax original is really floppy, which I don't mind sometimes, but it was something that I liked a little bit less. I cut this down to size, I tuck it in, and it makes it really sturdy. And I can stick little Post-its on here as well if I'd like. I've got my Ollie clip. I've got quite a few of them. I wish I'd bought more in this style. I really, really like them. I've got just a clear dashboard that I vinyled with Inhale and Exhale, just kind of that whole breathing thing. Just it's gonna be okay. Just little reminders in my inbox. Behind it, you'll see this beautiful blue acetate, and here I will take that off. The little plastic acetate, but it is from the Style Planner, and it is absolutely beautiful. And depending what you layer behind it, really, really shows really well. So I love that one. I have it in multiple sizes, and actually if I open my personal, it's actually the first thing I've got going there as well. So you can tell that I like it. So first section is my inbox. So this is just a quick to-do list where I can just brain dump. And the colors, I've got everything color-coded. Blue is work, pink is personal, orange is a board that I sit on. Green is this green is a finance. There's a darker green that's for my husband. So I just have a couple of blank ones that I have in there. This is from Hourglass Planners on Etsy, and it comes blank, and I just used Adobe and added in the different items. I think I need to change it a little bit. I printed it backwards though on this one, so you can see that's the 13th to the 19th and the 20th. So I just printed those out. I got 2 sheets here, but this will be for next week. So that should be good. Some things like pack a lunch. I'm still working because I'm military, so I do still go to work, but I have to, sometimes I go in, sometimes my husband goes in because we're both military. So some days you'll see that I'll end up with a line through that. But I really like her printables. Highly recommend them. So I printed a couple copies. Just did up in Canva a daily me task. So just ideas of, hey, if I'm looking for something to do that's not that usual routine, you know, especially this last one, just kind of a quick cheat sheet. I wrote out a AM PM, kind of I was playing it at the same time, but this needs it needs some updating, so I'll get to it. So a quick snapshot of 2020, and I got this one from Plan to Create, and she is awesome. She has done so many customs for me, and I'll show you quite a few of them in here. A couple I have in my personal. but she's phenomenal to deal with and highly recommend. So I got a quick snapshot of the year. I can't believe we're already into the second last week of April. That this year, as crazy as it's been, it's moved really quickly. I just reprinted this one. I need to fill it out. My kids dumped pop all over it, so that was great. So I just printed off a new one. This is another sheet from the Style Planner. I just love all her papers. This one is just cardstock. And then I have just a quick laminated sheet. I ran a 5mm through the laminate and just cut it down to size. Gives me somewhere to stick a bunch of Post-its. So my first section is family. And all my title pages, I just went into Canva and did a whole whack of them, size A5. My plan was to decorate them, and I just haven't had time yet. Things have been busy. So that same tracker that I have for myself earlier, I kind of redid it and just made a couple of changes and put my son's, a couple of things for my son, a couple of things for my daughter. You know, when they brush teeth, when they have their bath last. I need to update this actually. Today I have not had a chance to sit down yet, but I wanted to go through it. And then I did a home routine. I actually didn't use this week. I wanted to put something in it when I made it, but this I'm going to change into something else. But for now, it's great. Family health. So I started doing this one. This is just a quick snapshot of when my daughter's sick, when my son's sick, when I'm sick, and my husband, just so that we can see. I didn't add January and February because I didn't start this until the 10th of March. So luckily probably because we've been home, everyone's been very healthy in April so far. So I can't complain with that. A quick medicine log. I got this from the List Lab on Etsy, as well as the symptoms tracker, so that the temperatures that she had when she was sick in March. This, you'll notice there's a lot of French in my planner because we're French speaking at home. So this is this week's activities and plan for Jean-Luc and Viviane, my children. So I downloaded a free printable, made some modifications, my son, my daughter, and made notes for my husband. This was the first week. Didn't really work for me so much because really in the end, my son is the only one he's in grade 1 and is the only one that's getting tasks and things that he has to do. So we're kind of filling in with my daughter, alphabets or numbers, depending on what he's doing. We'll just go from there. I do have a couple more blank ones of that in here, but I will probably update it, give my son more room so I can actually make more notes for him, just because really he's the only one that has remits with my little legend here. I'm all about color coding, if you haven't been able to tell so far. So here I just wrote, having fun is important. Don't forget to laugh and run. Just as a quick little reminder to myself. So then I've got the monthlies. These also come from Plan to Create. They're the month on one page. And then I backed it with her free printable from her blog, which I really like. I took a stamp set. These ones are dated, but I took a stamp set and just went in and gave every month kind of 3 or 4 colors. It's always the same. That's inspired by Plan to Create because she always uses the same stamps and highlighters. So stars are birthdays. So I printed these mid-March, right as the COVID posture change happened at work. So my first 3 months are a little empty. April, a little bit more. So on here, I think that's pink. It's a reminder of, because I can't put everything in this, just reminders of little things. And then I've got them on the bottom. I started to write the weeks on the back, and as you can tell, I totally haven't used this. So I think in May, I'm going to use something completely different, and I'm not sure yet what that's going to be, how I'm going to use the back the best. But because things are so all over the place right now, I'm not using the monthly as much. There's nothing to plan ahead because everything's just paused. These are from 8 Lotus. I bought them on Etsy. They're the printables as well, and they're just the expense trackers. So I do have a finance section, but I decided to just throw an expense sheet behind each month. I did that for May. I just color coded them. And that way, when I take everything from my personal size, I'm actually going to fill them all in on here so everything is tracked. But it's right beside the month instead of recreating, so I can put down when I have bills, and it's kind of the month and that planning is all together. So that's that. There's that same sheet because I bought 2 or 3 of them. We've got 2 in here, and then my personal has 2 of them as well. So these are the weeklies. So I have 2 different weeklies, and I'll show you both. I kept them both in here, but normally I love time blocking. So you'll, this is over here is my weekly schedule. And normally I have things like this where I'll put the different times for different appointments, but because things have kind of gone a little wonky, and though I'm working, it's really not the same. I went to the Noted Co. Weeklies, and my daughter left me a little fish. So this is kind of what it looks like. So it's got priorities, daily tasks, meals, to-dos kind of on the side, and I can use horizontal. And it worked for a week or 2, but I still have a hard time getting a visual snapshot of my week with the horizontal. So I thought about it, I hemmed and hawed. I did a second week, realized I have the tracker here, but I prefer having the larger tracker where I can actually put more items, which works out really well. Drew some lines and added spending and decided I want my weekly spending in here. And as the weeks go, I can put them all behind the month on the expense sheet. So did a couple months like this, or a couple weeks, sorry. Some of them I'm using some tape, but often it's just stamp and highlighters. And then I decided that it just wasn't 100% working for me. I like to not have to flip through my planner when I put my day down. So I still haven't been able to find a perfect solution, but I ended up doing a little back and forth with a couple pages. So this is a weekly schedule from Corey B Printables on Etsy. So I printed that out because I need the vertical. I need to see when I've got things planned. I still don't know what days I'm working, so I'm waiting to confirm with my husband. And then I did take the Noted Co. insert and played with it in Adobe. So this is just me playing with it because I like being able to see my schedule, but then also be able to see my to-dos, to buy, expenses, tracking, meals, fitness, put my steps. So I kind of built out of the Noted Co. one to see if next week, if this satisfies my need for both the schedule and room for everything else. We will see. I also printed I have a half month printout, which I'm not quite sure what went. I had it out, but I think my kids walked away with it. I didn't even realize that. Anyways, I'll show that later. But hopefully we're gonna give this a try and see if that works. And so that way I just printed it a few out and see if that gives me both that, like it's not a lot of room to put if I had 3 or 4 things side by side. So that half insert that I've got printed out actually has the days of the week. So I wanted to put specific to-dos on specific days. I can flip it between this day, but we'll see. This is another page from the style planner, nice little vellum. I had 2 extra laminated ones. I wasn't sure where to put them, so I just chucked them in the middle. And then April, these are the verticals from Plan to Create that I really love. But like I said, I've got them in here right now. I haven't taken them out, but I'm not really using them. So I might remove them just to make some space until I decide to go back to that 2-week spread, which who knows, might be next week. I've been pretty undecided these days. I do have dailies. I love the idea of dailies, but so far I've not been able to make them 100% work for me on a regular basis. There are days where I totally need them. This is another Plan to Create custom spread that she built for me. I really liked, this was very close to the one that she already had. I asked for extra lines, expenses. So these are my, the daily ones. Room for food, fitness, H2O, weight, sleep, chores, errands, and then room for scribbles. I've used a couple weeks worth and I do like them, but I seem to live in that weekly spread. I seem to like it a lot better, and I'm not a big fan of flipping back and forth. So probably need to get over that, but for now. And I also had some Marcia Bermuzzi inserts as well. Next section was health and fitness. So I've got that same spread from Peanut Planner Co. I just printed this out, so it's really blank. But my plan was to put just the color codings on what day I walked and biked and whatever. Obviously not going to the gym right now because everything's closed and I'm nursing an injury, so there's a lot of things that I cannot do right now. So I printed out the exact same ones that I had printed for the months, you'll notice, but I haven't stamped the top. Printed these in March, so just started to fill it in. I have a legend that I can just move because it's just a little post-it. And then started to input the weights, the walks, the workouts. I still have to update. I didn't put a couple of things in from this week. Just goals, important dates. I started writing out the back workouts on the back and then injured myself, so they're not very helpful right now. So I just have all the months, so I'll be able to look back really quickly, make notes if I had make notes on my injuries. This is also a rough meal plan. This is from List Lab as well. I really like it. I kind of made this meal plan, and then really I've been using the same thing week to week. I change things up every once in a while, but we eat pretty much the same thing all the time. I'm not a very adventurous cook. I have a quick notes section with just a bunch of, this is Rhodia paper that I've just cut down from a pad. So I got a bunch of that. More style planner. I just love the foil on everything. It's so pretty. So then I got my finance section really quick. So I'm not sure why I put online orders instead of finances, but I did. And then I've got a few of the larger online orders that I put, two of the Maldens that I bought, or sorry, two of the Filofaxes that I bought, and then my VDS. So I just need to add that I actually received that. I just find that a lot of the trackers are more like this list, but I needed to be able to add what what credit cards I used, what the tracking numbers were. So I printed a few of these. I think this is, I can't remember who this is from. I'll have to take a peek and be added afterwards. More items from the List Lab. I really like them for anything that's listed. So this is my yearly bill tracker, which works out really well. So these are a lot of the subscriptions that I've got. This is from Simple and Trendy Co. I really like this. I need to update April on a lot of these, but the different bills that change monthly that aren't always the same. I ended up adding Google One and Google Music to it. They're the same amount every month, but it's just easier for me to have it all in one spot. And then this was just an updated subscription tracker. I have a couple of blank ones in there. And then I've got Home. This guy doesn't have a tab, not sure why. So I'm going to just throw in, just throw one of these on so I can find it really quickly. So home maintenance log. I just printed these out, so I need to fill them in. I'm going to backdate them to the beginning of the year for our vehicles. These are List Lab as well. These ones are from Plan to Create. It's her cleaning logs. She's got a really good video on how she does these, and I really like it. I also printed a couple more cleaning ones from Hourglass planners that I'm going to be adding in here. So I'll need to do that. For those who haven't seen this yet, I'm military. I'm actually the Deputy Commanding Officer of 442 Squadron, a search and rescue squadron up here in Canada. And I decided, because I was going from home to work and I could bring my A5 because I have my backpack with me, I made myself a quick little insert section from work. I'm not going to go through all of this. I've got some calendars, some notes. I have another A5 that's just blank papers. So as I write my notes, do things, and I'm just filling them in here. I will have to separate my work and my personal life ones because it's really full. I've got no more room in here. And then I've got a quick sleeve with some receipts and some bills that I need to keep with me. And that is the same as the front. It's that 10 millimeter filler. So that's a quick snapshot of my A5. I really like it. Even though A5 was not good for me for a while, right now the way life is, it's definitely the easiest way to go. And it works really, really well. So that is my current A5 flip. I will be going back to having, to using my personal a little more. I've got my Fluo, which I love this. It's so pretty. And I have my VDS as well. But for now, I seem to need the bigger space. So I'm going to live in this size for a while. And we'll just see where it goes. But that's my quick